Creatures with special abilities in ARK. There's a few of them, all offering you a unique way to tackle the maps of ARK Survival Evolved. But what are the top 10 as voted by you? You're right kids, it's Raasclark and welcome to another top 10 as voted by you in my community section here on YouTube. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around and let's get into it. So in at number 10 is the Kakinos, the crab, spawning on Aberration, Genesis, Val and Crystal Isles. Uniquely tamed with a catapult turret. And I can see why this just made the top 10, as it's the ultimate pickup truck, being able to grab and throw most creatures. And with no flyers on Aberration, this is the ultimate carry companion, being able to carry two things at once, whether it's Ankies to farm or Stegos to tank. And of course, it never gets old throwing a player in the air. They're pretty well versed in travelling the maps, leaping to incredible heights, with a superb carry weight, and with no oxygen stat and being immune to radiation, this can get anywhere across most maps. And is certainly overlooked as a great tank, taking 0.8 times damage against heavy turrets. And of course, this is a great tool for gaining poly, if you've got a chainsaw handy. In at number 9, the Arthro, the acid-spitting giant centipede found on all maps and passive tamed with Broth of Enlightenment. It possesses two fantastic abilities, but one I'm sure that made this hit the vote. Its first one being, of course, its acidic spit that breaks enemy armour. But it is the base destroyer, more cost effective than C4 and can damage all types of structures. Once leveled in melee, this will take down bases, with an exampled 455% melee Arthro damaging metal for 282 a bite and tech for 113, certainly helping wiping those bases a breeze. And certainly don't overlook it being pretty fast in the water, outpacing a Megalodon. In at number 8, the Denonicus, the fluffy raptor, spawning on Val where you get its eggs to raise. And we've covered this one to death, it's appeared in so many top 10 so far. And I can see why. It's the all-around terrain vehicle, being able to climb, sort of glide and possessing no fall damage. But of course its unique ability is the one to pounce on large dinos, dealing a pretty nasty bleed effect and taking down things much larger than itself, specifically bosses, where they can be used to take down the Manticore with relative ease. In at number 7, the Stego, the plated multi-tool that can be found on all maps but Scorched Earth. KO'd the normal way and fed berries, up until recently was just simply a great tank, but now is so much more. It's got 3 backplate modes. Hardened plate mode supplies a damage reduction buff that prevents the riders from being dismounted by enemies, and when combined with other buffs, such as later on in this list, and mate boost, it's able to reduce its damage received to 14.2%, making it a tough cookie to crack. Its heavy plate mode applies a slow effect when attacking, slowing down your foes from hitting you or running away. And its sharpened plate mode applies an armor penetration effect when attacking with the tail whip, which is also the mode you want to use when harvesting berries, of which you will get a lot of berries. And certainly don't overlook its secondary impale attack that can impale creatures up to the size of a Rex if the Rex has been dealt enough damage. Used for harvesting, battle or tanking, it's the ultimate all-rounder. And certainly don't overlook the tech variant, buffing those stats up even further. In at number 6, the Mantis, the praying menace, spawning on any map that's got a desert biome or perhaps even lava. It's passive tamed with deathworm horns. And it's the Swiss army trooper able to wield most melee weapons. And if you equip it with max weapons, you've got either a super gatherer with double picks, a deadly killer with double swords, or a boxing master with double clubs, able to knock out things with a few hits with those max wooden clubs. And is second only to the Kakinos being a great source for poly. In at number 5, and it's great to see this one, the Otter, the cuddly Hoarder that can be found on all maps but Scorched Earth, and is passive tamed by feeding it dead fish. And whilst it's got a great ability to harvest both silica and black pearls from dead fish, provides a great insulation effect to incubate eggs that scales with melee. It's of course been voted in for its artifact transporter ability, carrying as many artifacts as you want, and it's the only creature that can do this. Not even a player can do this, meaning as long as those artifacts respawn in caves, you've got a source to get as many as you want and never enter those caves again. In at number 4, the Ranus, the fluffy Rex that's found on all maps but Aberration. Tamed by the conventional knockout methods, and my favourite on the list, because it's the OG buff god, the ultimate war companion, providing a courage roar, boosting allied creatures' attack damage by 25% and reducing incoming damage by 20%, which of course makes this great and useful for battles and or bosses. But don't overlook its fear-inducing roar. Affected creatures will take up to 50% more damage and reduce their attacks by 30%, let alone scaring away any smaller creatures. Leveled in health, this is an unstoppable companion, and also doubles as one of the easiest ways to get extraordinary kibble. In at number 3, the Snow Owl, the winter nocturnal beast, found on extinction, tamed by the usual knockout methods, and is certainly deserved to be voted so high with its many features. Overlooking its flying glide into dive bombing, its carrying ability, its pellet production that creates instant fertilizer or buffs gachas. It's of course been voted in because of its freeze ability, healing everything stuck in place around it, which includes wilds, to help taming. So pump that stamp for a great healer that improves 40 health per second. And of course its scout ability, sensing any target with its infrared vision, useful of course in PvP when chasing down those loose trolls. In at number 2, the Rock Drake, Obi-Wan's steed, found on Aberration, and of course you need to grab an egg from the Drake nest to tame one, and is certainly a favourite amongst many, reaching number 1 in the top 10 favourite creatures poll. It's the multi-terrain able to go anywhere tool, whether it's climbing, gliding, swimming, of which it can leap straight out the water. It can go literally anywhere. Possessing as well a cloak ability, making caves it can enter a breeze, and possibly help evading in PvP. With stats comparable to some of the strongest tames in the game, it is the very able multi-ability creature that you're going to want in ARK. And before we get to number 1, here's a special mention to the creatures that didn't just make the list. And you voted this in at number 1, the notorious BOG, the Bloodstalker, found on Genesis, is not only the most unique voted, but arguably one of the most unique tames, requiring a wealth of blood packs, being grabbed by it, sacrificing creatures. It's certainly one of the more interesting tame methods. And why is this number 1? Well, I guess it's because it's the all-terrain scout. Scaling maps with ease, whether you're swinging like Spider-Man, climbing, skimming along water, and of course possessing no fall damage. It also possesses Spidey vision, similar to the tech helmet, seeing everything in view. It's of course the master tamer, being able to grapple onto and away from all creatures and players, and will adjust itself when you wield a weapon to line up those important shots. And once mastered in travelling, will be your everywhere creature, whether that's running caves, grabbing eggs, or performing the odd emote with you. You certainly won't regret taming the Bloodstalker, and as voted being the best special ability creature. Thanks all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this list. What did you think? Drop a comment below, let me know. What more top 10s would you like to see? My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.